Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of Antonio's Movie Reviews. Today I have for you Mad Love, a 1995 romantic drama movie featuring Drew Barrymore and Chris O'Donnell. This movie was directed by Antonia Bird and has an excellent soundtrack which adds a lot to the movie. I enjoyed this movie because while the Love on the Run type of movie has surely been done numerous times, this one has a ton of realism throughout, in my opinion. I believe this was one of the movies that really showcased Drew Barrymore's skills as an actress. She has been praised for her realistic portrayal of mental illness in this film that features her as a high school teen with borderline personality disorder named Casey. Chris O'Donnell is a high school senior who lives across the river from Casey named Matt. His mother left the family and Matt has become sort of a surrogate parent for his 9-year-old siblings and also his father, who is deeply involved in his work. Matthew Lillard plays Eric, who is O'Donnell's friend.
Dick, what's the deal, man? I thought you just started dating her. Oh, what can I say, man? Nice. I like some of the cocks. Check that out. What is that? Yeah.
I immediately started thinking of Matthew Lillard and Barrymore going on to Scream the next year, with her name even being Casey in that movie. Barrymore and Chris O'Donnell also shared the screen together in Batman Forever, also made the same year as this movie. I love the setting of Seattle for this movie, as I did in the movie Fear also. The design of these houses is just magnificent. Matt cares less about stars now.
Deck is kind of lowering a bit.
Why don't you just make me a sign?
We should lose that too.
Hey.
Bring us a chance of more rain. Let's go. Come on.
Thinking about the alluring neighbor that just moved in across the river.
Matt, have you seen my extra computer battery? Where does it all go?
Life, Dad.
Life. I used to have one, you know.
Go home around 6, all right?
By Casey and Matt being on opposite sides of the river, that has symbolism in itself, in my own opinion, because it just adds to Casey's mystique. And when he finds this notebook that she left behind in the library, he discovers her name, which he actually hadn't received as of yet, and her favorite band.
Casey, all right? Her name is Casey. Casey? That's a good name. Matt, advice, talk to her, because it's like one of those necessary steps. What are you gonna do, go over her house and stake it out or something? Stake out her house? Yeah. All right, maybe.
What if I get caught?
I won't know. I'll be out of here.
Who is this Casey? You gonna have sex with her?
They definitely have a contrast in style, Matt and Casey. It's just like he's more conservative and she's just this wild and, crazy, like literally in the sense of things, teenage girl who's like really fun loving and just loves like grunge and, noisy places. And even in this bar, it doesn't really look like Matt fits in there.
What a coincidence. Why didn't you just ask me? What's your name?
Matt. Leland.
Well, look, if you want to go on a date, you're going to have to ask me. You look like an idiot.
I am an idiot, all right?
Although they have this different character style, the chemistry in this movie is off the charts. It's honestly like they know each other in real life and they've, discussed working together or maybe even had a personal relationship in the past.
Yeah, I like rudeness, noise, honesty. They got you, your family, details.
Well, my dad secrets you want to tell me about?
This one, that one.
She comes off as a very private person, like the type of person in 2020 to have like a limited profile or something like that on Facebook.
Shit, look at the time, I gotta go.
It's still early.
I know.
I love how old-fashioned she was, like leaving abruptly as to not take things too far on the first date. But we see a bit of her rebellious side the next day when she basically entices Matt to skip chemistry class.
Come out, play.
I think I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, wow.
Let's go somewhere.
No.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
Well, I pulled it up just for you, so get in.
Well, I guess I could do...
Matt ends up leaving anyway, and the two go for a ride, like, to nowhere until Matt recommends that they go to a spot he used to go to, I believe, with his family when he was a child, which turns out to be a very romantic location. One thing for sure is that Matt is head over heels enamored, and Casey, she definitely is, you know, a free-spirited, fun-loving person, and he has so many responsibilities for a man of his age. I mean, he's basically taking care of his two small siblings. He's going grocery shopping, probably paying bills, and a bunch of other things he really shouldn't be worried about, on top of rowing. He just needs a break.
No. What do you think you know?
Well, number one, you answer questions with questions. You like rude people, and,
I'm here.
you know that I like you.
How do I?
There's just definitely something about these types of movies that I really enjoy. It's like the 90s nostalgia of it, like a man head over heels in love. I can definitely relate this movie to the one Crazy Beautiful from 2001 starring Kirsten Dunst and Jay Hernandez. It's almost like they recycled the plot of this movie for that specifically. Not a smart move keeping that telescope pointed there.
It's me, Casey. Go look through your telescope.
Dad, would you,
Take a good long look. Because it's the last one you'll ever have.
Could you let me explain?
Explain. What a pervert you are.
After the breakup, they rekindle almost immediately, and then Matt goes over to Casey's house to meet the family and to take her on a real date. Things start off a bit rocky, especially with her father, because he's immediately offering Matt a beer, to which when he says sure, then the dad gets a little leery. That was a trap right there.
Actually, I'll just take a soda. I'm more in the mood for a soda, actually.
Very good.
Dad's probably down there giving him the third degree. Can you keep it off my back, you know? My beautiful girl.
I love how these 90s movies always had great parties in them that just make you envy those times. The date scene is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I really enjoyed the realism in this moment. Drew Barrymore definitely comes off as a normal enough person in these scenes, but Matt discovers the other side of her when she wants him to leave the SAT test coming up in the next scene. This doesn't look like it's gonna go very well.
Students? Great, now you can go.
No, Casey, I can't. Look, this is important, right? I mean,
Director Antonia Bird definitely deserves quite a bit of praise here. I really love these scenes of the telescope to where he's on the outside looking in and he gets to see like the realities of Casey's actual mood disorder like firsthand, and then he sees that she's actually about to attempt to swim across the river, so he sees that the great lengths she'll go to suddenly, I guess, get his attention. So he's definitely a selfless person in so much that he's, you know, already given up on so much to be with her. He skipped school, he left out on his SAT, now he swam to save her. She's definitely showing her, you know, personality disorder in this regard. But, you know, he goes to great lengths, and the director shows that very well in this movie.
yeah.
She's beautiful.
Neighbor was there at the twins. They were just babies.
I must say that by Matt being such a plain, you know, achievement-driven character and having Drew Barrymore, Casey is this wacky, manic girl who's just there to loosen him up, that trope doesn't exist in this movie. It's definitely real love here, and that's, you know, what the movie is about.
Casey, it's me.
Hi, listen.
Can I have a phone? Give me the phone. Who's this?
And because of her behavior last night, we feel it would not be a good idea for you to see her anymore.
That fire drill stunt ends up getting her committed to a psychiatric ward.
Her parents took her to the hospital.
Did you?
Is there any record of psychiatric illness? That could be a
Yes? Hi, I'm here to see Casey Roberts.
overdose. I found her in the bathroom unconscious.
Where is she? Can I see her?
Casey's mother, Margaret, is played by Joan Allen, who you may recognize from the Bourne movies because she's Pamela Landy, so it's kind of hard to see her in that concerned and confused light.
Principal wondering where you were for the SATs today. Did you forget they got rescheduled? Some delinquent?
You were so friggin' blind, no wonder she left you.
Glad you're here. She's over by the window. She's feeling pretty low.
Matt ends up diagnosing the psych ward as the problem and actually breaks Casey out, which is a great scene, I guess, in this movie. But of course, it's been done a lot with these kinds of movies where, you know, two parents are concerned that the two don't belong together, but they defy the odds and make it anyway. But this is great to watch.
Just want you guys to know that I'm okay. Tell Dad that. I'm gonna be gone.
It honestly keeps you at the edge of your seat. I mean, me personally, I was rooting for them. You know, I appreciate this movie much more as an adult, although I saw it as a young man because I just had free reign at the video stores.
Okay, what's our plan?
Our plan is west, and if it's a boy, we go east.
Okay.
Casey appears distraught. Seems that she really doesn't know what the plan is. Drew Barrymore definitely does an excellent job at portraying this carefree teenager while at the same time struggling with this very intense mental illness that just seems to take her over at times. It's like they can have an absolutely wonderful time just staying in, you know, Fleabag motels and just driving relentlessly with no aim as to where they're going, and then she could just come up with some crazy idea like covering his eyes while he's on the freeway and having her direct where he's going. I guess that was a game of trust, and Matt selflessly bought into it, but, you know, he gives her a forgiveness flower and she eats it. He doesn't really know what to do at that point, so he just eats it himself.
Ooh, out of sight. Hide, okay?
Your lucky day.
Oh, great.
It is indeed their lucky day because they were picked up by none other than Liev Schreiber. That guy is known for being saber-toothed, and you may recognize him from a number of other movies like Defiance. I really like him as an actor. I don't know if he's credited in this movie or not, though. I just recognize him because he also went on and played Cotton Weary in Scream, yet another connection with Drew Barrymore from this movie, along with Matthew Lillard.
She's fine, all right? We're both fine.
No, Matt, she's not fine. She's sick and she needs psychiatric help. Matt, you...
They're definitely saying that Matt should bring Casey back because she needs treatment.
All right, fine, $100. Okay. Sit on the tricycle. Oh, leave me alone.
The stress in this situation would probably make anybody unsettled, actually.
Almost done over here. They're for our protection.
This bathroom scene was played really well by Drew Barrymore. Her acting skills in this regard are just remarkable. I believe that she played this in a really good way. It wasn't like too cringy to watch. It very well could have been, but it wasn't.
Matt Leland.
Oh, thank God. Where are you? Treatment. She needs drugs to control her mood swings.
Where can I get the drugs?
You'll lose her to the sickness sooner or later. Now just tell us where you are and we will come and get you. Okay, no.
Matt was just overwhelmed, and he just had so much responsibility already. He just couldn't handle this. He called her parents, and next thing you know, Casey overheard and she attempts to commit suicide or shoot him and herself.
Oh, that's great, Casey! Casey, what are you waiting for?
The ending of this movie was definitely sad. Like, as much fun as it started in the beginning, it's not the ending that you would expect. You just want them to live, like, happily ever after, but unfortunately it doesn't go that way in this movie, which also adds to its realism, in my opinion. There was no way that they could have just shrugged off her diagnosis and just went on, because apparently she was displaying symptoms of these things. There's no shame in crying for Chris O'Donnell in that scene. I don't feel like he's less of a man or anything in that regard. That was like real, that whole ride. That was like the ride of your life.
At least now, not so much for just coming from inside my head. I guess I have the doctor's that and you in my heart.
That was my review on 1995's Mad Love, starring Drew Barrymore and Chris O'Donnell. I really enjoyed this movie. I hope you did as well. The movie is basically like known as a chick flick, but it has some real scenes in it. You know, it's a real movie, I would say. It's not cliche, and I think that you would enjoy it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.